Hey YouTube, welcome back to how to build an F-14 Tomcat. As you can see, I'm here in the new shop. I've actually been doing a little bit of work since the last video. You can see the F-14's on its typical bench. The nose here, I've got the flange all done, painted. I got a little bit of paint overspray to clean off, but the nose flange is done. Back here where the wing fairing hatches are going to be, both of those are done. The back side of the spill doors are done. The exhaust nozzle portions back here on both sides are done. So about the only thing left on the fuselage really is the area down here, but I'm going to wait to actually get this top half of the mold finished. I got to do a little bit more work right there. But once this top half of the fuselage is molded, I'll flip this thing over, I'll finish this up, and then we will finish molding the rest of the fuselage. As you can see, I've got a canopy frame up there. I laid that up a few weeks ago, just kind of as a test piece. I wanted to see how difficult and how light this thing was going to be. It turned out fairly well. The mold halves weren't clamped quite correctly in the back, so it's a little higher by about 1/16 to 3/32 of an inch. So this one's usable for proof of concept and layup purposes, but otherwise it's trash. You see it brought in the detail from the mold fairly well. Again, this was painted in the mold just using the some Rust-Oleum metallic silver paint. This from, I think, Walmart's where I got it. But I molded this into two separate portions. I did the top half portion here on the top half of the mold, which is over there. You can see I modified it a little bit, more on that a little bit later. But I did that first. That's just a couple of layers of, it's only two layers of glass cloth here, and 3 layers about halfway down, all the way back here, and all the way up here. The center one I wasn't too worried about because it's not a structural thing, it's just a kind of a cosmetic. But the front up here, and especially the back, I want to make sure I got 3 layers on there so it was nice and strong, because this is all the area that's going to take all the stress from the opening mechanism. And the bottom portion is just 3 layers of glass cloth as well. As you can see, there's absolutely no carbon fiber in this thing at all. Right now it weighs 3.5 ounces, and that's with this this excess flange or mold there. That's gonna get cut down to the frame, and then the clear plastic put in. And you can see I just used high salt to assemble the 2 halves, and I didn't spend very much time making it look all pretty in there, so there's a lot of excess. I probably got a ½ ounce of excess high salt just in there flopping around like there and whatnot. So I think I can get this canopy frame to about 4.5 ounces with the clear glass in it. So that'll be a fairly lightweight part. Again, no carbon. I may add just a little bit of carbon toe along the bottom, just to excuse me, just add a little bit more rigidity to it. But otherwise, I mean, it's a fairly stiff part for as much of it's missing. Before I cut all this fiberglass portions out, it was extremely strong to where you could twist it if you put a lot of force into it, but it took a lot of force. So canopy frame's done, well, sort of done. I showed you guys beforehand the exhaust nozzles. This guy should be all too familiar. It's just the clear vacuum form portion for the windscreen. And I know I've been saying for months I was going to finish up the windscreen or the canopy mold. Well, guess what? It's done. I finished that today. So as you can see, there's only 2 pieces, the front and end. Reason why is because this thing is a tank. I put these two, before I even put these two pieces of balsa on the end, I just sat on it and it didn't even budge. I mean, when you push down, it does not move at all. So if the vacuum former breaks it, I'll be surprised. So basically, I just cut it flat across the bottom so it would fit nice and flat on the vacuum form table. You can see the edges of the layup are kind of tapered across, and you can see there it kind of loses its taper and then it starts tapering again. So that was just cut straight across so it'll fit nice and tight or flat on a table. Wing mold down there, you can see I've got some black lines drawn on it. That'll be where the rest of the mold support goes. I'm probably going to use 1/4 inch MDF for that, just because the stuff is fairly stable with temperature changes. And I'm going to have one piece across the leading edge, one there vertical at the trailing edge of tip, and another one in the center, and then these two diagonal pieces. That should be plenty. I mean, the mold is fairly stiff as it is. It's almost 1/4 inch thick, so it should be fine. I'm going to do that on both sides. The vertical stabs, I'll probably do something similar to those. The horizontal stabs I'm just going to leave as they are, just because they're fairly flat and I can put them in one big box or one big bag. So that biggie there's one of my shop buddies. So our golden retriever Lacey, and then the other one is hiding back there behind the vacuum pump. That's Samantha, the Australian Shepherd or Australian cattle dog, whatever you want to call it. At least that's what we're told. Other wing panel, see it's in the parting planes, ready to be waxed and PVA'd and molded. Still, I got to order more 6-ounce cloth. Just haven't gotten around to it. Back to the canopy frame mold. I got the center of it cut out for the bottom portion. Again, that's just so you can get access in there to join the two. The actual canopy part frame mold, this used to all be here. After doing that first one, I realized it was just extremely wasteful to put glass all in here, and it was really hard, even with that big opening on the bottom, to join it. That's why it was, all that Hysol is just kind of everywhere in there. You can't get your hand in some places. So what I did is cut these areas out. I left it fairly wide. It's about 1/4 inch wider in places than the actual frame is. That way you get a little bit more support. It's still extremely strong, so I didn't lose any weakness, any strength or anything out of it. I'm not going to vacuum bag this stuff. I'm just going to do hand layups, peel ply it, peel the peel ply off, assemble the halves. I mean, if I can do a 3.5 ounce layup by hand for the part, that's fine, and all the detail transferred over to it. So unless I end up putting some sort of Kevlar or a lot of carbon cloth into the layup, it'll just be hand layups. So this stuff's actually PVA'd right now. I'm gonna lay up another one. Ventral fin molds, pulled those out, cleaned them up, and waxed them. Again, they're PVA'd, they're drying right now. I'm gonna try and lay up one of those tonight. See what kind of weight I can get out of that. I don't expect these to be much more than 2 or 3 ounces. They're gonna be a fairly lightweight layup. And then I'm gonna have a couple, probably 2 balsa blocks, one here and one back here for mounting it to the actual fuselage. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at with the F-14. Not a whole lot's been done. I've been kind of lazy, just relaxing, and the holidays kind of wear you out. I started stripping the air compressor tank down so I can get ready to start sanding it down and make it all pretty. Get ready to start assembling the vacuum bag system. See that I got this giant 4x8 table. I got to get a cutting mat for it, and that big roll of fiberglass under there is going to get hung under the sides. This table is about 36 inches tall, I believe, from the floor to here, and it's got a set back about 18 inches to the feet. That way you can get nice big long rolls of fiberglass cloth in there. So that's where I'm at. Not doing a whole lot. I leave on Tuesday for about 2 weeks for work. Hopefully when I get back I'll have some fiberglass cloth sitting here waiting on me. Get back, get the cloth here, get this thing waxed and PVA'd. I'll lay up the top half of this wing mold, get the other one done, and then I'm going to start doing the support structure on these 2 wing molds and those 2 vertical fins. And then once I get all that stuff done, that's where we're going after these wings are done. That big old fuselage is going to get molded finally. It's 2 years, 7 months, and I think 3 days, and God knows how many hours and minutes since I first started this project. And what I mean by first started, I mean that's cutting the first piece of wood. This has been probably a 15-year dream of mine to actually get an F-14 molded, and I've been working on just kind of in my own head and on paper and stuff for about 10 years of what I wanted the airplane to be, and this one's about 95% there. I'll probably do a second version, which will be the same size, but it's all going to be computer drawn, and I'll probably have the plugs and all that stuff milled out of some tooling board or something. That way it is exactly like the computer model and as close to the real one as I can possibly get it, even more so than this one. So that's where I'm at. Last video I talked about the little flying pancake. I'm still kind of working on that here and there when I get motivated to do anything. With it being wintertime, got to get some F-14 molds done. That way I can get at least an airframe out to show people next year and all the shows. I'm gonna try and go to probably Joe Nall down in Greenville, South Carolina. That's a big one I'm planning on going to. I'm gonna attempt to make Top Gun this year if I'm in town. I might go to Afghanistan. We don't know yet. That's a possibility, and I really hope I do. Could use extra spending cash for this thing. And a couple other ones. Probably the first in flight jet rally. I think that is Memorial Day weekend, so towards the end of May. That'll be one. Of course, I got my local homegrown thing here in Harrisonburg, Virginia. The jumbo fly-in. That's one, and who knows what else. Maybe Kentucky Jets if I can talk the wife into letting me take more vacation than I have. So Happy New Year to everybody on this New Year's Eve day. And for those of y'all who are a couple hours ahead of us, you're probably getting ready to watch a ball drop and the fireworks go off. So until January 2012, you ladies and gentlemen have a good night, and we will see you in the shop.